Hi, I'm Ryan Hadley, and I'm excited to finally put out my first video for FreeStyle Kettlebell Club. This is really cool. I've been planning on doing it for a long time. And sometimes we put things off because we don't think the conditions are quite right. Is the lighting right in the room? Not really. Is the video right? There's all kinds of little things that we can say are not quite ready. But those are just excuses. So whatever your situation, get started and get going. So I'm going to be showing a few different things today, from the warm-up to some the fundamental skills, and then what it is that makes my style freestyle, why I call it that. So without blabbing on too much, basically my style is based on what I call the 5 elements, which are mobility, stability, strength, power, and endurance. And it's the alchemy of those elements that creates the magic of fitness for whatever it is that you want to do. So briefly, mobility, anytime you're moving. So right now, moving my hands around, that's mobility. I'm walking, that's mobility. Anytime you're moving, it falls in the mobility category to me. Stability is anytime you're stable. So if I'm keeping my body stable in a plank on the ground, that's stability. Strength would be moving against a force or a weight. And so for doing a press, for instance, I'm keeping my body stable, and then my arm is what I mean by strength, pressing the weight up. It's also mobility because it's moving, right? So the quality of the mobility, can I get my shoulder up? Can I get my arm straight up? Okay, that could be a mobility issue. So the strength is moving against the force. So that's mobility, stability, strength. Power is something, an explosive strength, speed. Power will often have like a relaxation element. Think like it's not, the best boxer isn't just the guy that can bench press the most, right? So if he can press 700 pounds, that's really slow. You can have, like, you can say there's power in there, sure, but that punch isn't slow, it's fast. Okay, so, and having that speed and the strength, power, and that speed means that there's going to be some relaxation component in there also. So we have mobility, stability, strength, power. The last one is endurance, and that's doing any of those, any combination of those for a long time. If you're in the plank, with whatever plank you're using, okay, I just said it was stability. Well, what if you do it for an hour? Is that endurance? Yes, okay. Maybe 30 seconds is endurance. So I just mean endurance by something you do for a longer amount of time. So the definitions are not like carved in stone. They're fluid definitions, okay? And you see what I mean, right? So we'll get right into it. The first thing we'll do is a mobility drill, mobility set. A lot of this I got from my jiu-jitsu teacher from 20 some years ago. So we'll start with our hands locked behind our back, and that's to keep our shoulders in place. See, if I don't do that, a lot of us, we're at desk, we're driving, we're hunched forward. So it's hard to hunch forward and lock those arms in, right? So locking those arms in puts us up nice and straight. We'll do 4 things with the neck. So the first is circles. So all the way around. And keep your eyes open. It affects your vestibular organs also, which are your balance, basically. So go around each way 10 times. It's nice and relaxed. You're not forcing anything here. Just nice and slow. Opposite way. hearing any noises? If you do it, it's probably nothing bad. If there's pain, do not work through pain, work around it. Okay? So if those hurt, just doing them at all hurts, then don't do them. That means that they're not right for you. If you're just hearing some noise, I think that's just a normal thing. But with anything else, if there's pain, do not work through the pain, work around it. Figure out a variation, which I will hopefully be able to help you with. I'll show variations on a lot of these things. So that's the first one, neck circles, 10 times each way, nice and slow. The second one, see, I'm trying to touch the top back of my head to the ceiling the whole time. And the top back, I don't know if you can, this spot right up here, I'm not raising my chin up. My chin is tucked a bit. I'm really trying to touch the ceiling with my head. I'm not scrunching my shoulders up, I'm letting them fall naturally into place. And I'll look left to right. Same thing, if this hurts, don't do it. If your range of motion is this doesn't hurt, then do that. Just nice and easy, don't force it. Maybe you get a little bit farther each way over time, maybe you don't. 10 each way. I don't know if I'm doing 10s or not, but you get the idea. Do 10. So then ear to shoulder. And try not to do shoulder to ear, right? Do ear to shoulder. Keep the shoulders down. Don't force it. It's nice and easy. Just getting the joints ready for what we're doing next. Just breathe nice and relaxed. 10 each way. Then up and down. Same thing. Eyes are open. If there's a part of it that hurts, don't go that far. Are you naturally breathing in when you're looking up? Why? Well, it'd be an anatomical breathing match for starters. I won't dig too much into that. Yeah, I will get into breathing methods later. So those are the 4 circles, left, right, ear to shoulder, up and down. Next, shoulder circles. So I'm going to keep my hands like a traditional like Japanese jiu-jitsu. We call this keying our hand. Somebody grabs your wrist, you key your hand. You can feel it. It makes your wrist bigger. But anyways, you can test out the difference. What it feels like when you have your hands keyed. It just means open and not in arm circles. Oh, it's nice and slow. Just gaining a little bit more mobility over and over time. 10 this way. I'm alternating which arm crosses over the top. So I just let my hands relax. And now they're keyed. Try it out, see if you feel any difference. Try it out a bunch of times. And then backwards. What's your breathing method? Okay. Not always telling you the answers. I'm giving you options to explore. Because you'll see that even pretty high-level trainers sometimes will use an anatomical breathing match, which is what's used like in yoga, which become more relevant in just a second here. And then there's a biomechanical breathing match, which you'll use more like when you're lifting heavy weights. So the difference is between like strength and relaxation. So shoulders 10 times each way. Then we'll do a hip twist. So when I'm twisting to my left, my right heel comes up and my left foot points about 45 degrees. So if I'm going slow, my arms don't come out. Watch me speed up a little bit. Okay, so the only thing that's making my arms go out is that rotation. I slow down, they come down. Okay, I'm just showing you the relaxation in my arms. So I'm looking before I go. So my head leads the way. So think like if somebody comes up behind you and that you think it might be about to attack you, you look first and then you strike. You don't just like strike and then look, right? Oh, that's weird. So look and then you strike. So think like that. So now at the end, I'm gonna give a little bit more of my arms so I can stretch out my back muscles a little bit more. So it's relaxed, but then I do a little extras, right? I'm relaxed, doing a little extra. Relax, do a little extra. Now I'm trying to keep my head over my hips. I don't want to like reach out like this way. Okay, not on this. Okay, we're staying balanced. All right. A few more. So typically I'll do like 10 times each way. So then watch first before you follow along with this one. So on this one, so we'll come like straight from this one into, I'm looking up towards my top hand, and then I'm coming this way. So right now I feel a stretch in my groin right here. So I'm not just like twisting this way. This leg is coming over, all right? It shouldn't take a big, you're not looking for like a stretch that's gonna rip anything. Just putting tension there, okay? And keep your back flat. Don't let it round over for this part, okay? And then when we come up, like you're lifting up a ball, see my heels? I'm pointing to the other way. Okay, so I'll go a little bit faster now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up, breathe in, out, in, 2, and back to center. So notice we're going from head down to the toes. So that was for spine mostly, but also the groin. Now the hips. So it's like pelvis like circles. So you'll like tuck your tailbone forward to the right, back, back left, this way. So tilting up. And try not to move, just try to keep the focus in the hips. And you can close your eyes if you don't want anyone to see you. Okay, other way, 10. I was doing those at a gym that I used to train at, and going through that same mobility routine that I did all the time. and Shakira, the song like "Hips Don't Lie" came on the radio, and it's like, should I keep doing this, or so I just went for it, you know, whatever. So hips, knees, feet together, knees together, doing knee circles. Okay, this way. So you can also put your hands on your kneecaps and kind of like massage your kneecaps, warm them up a little bit, 10 each way. Other way. And then to the left, to the right. Then you can open them up, open your feet up. So knees come in and then out. Same thing, just massaging the kneecaps. And if any of it hurts, again, don't do it. If it hurts, don't do it. We work around pain, we don't work through it. Other way. Just keep your breathing nice and relaxed. Toes, tuck your toes under, and you're doing like feet, ankle, right? So we're working from head to toe, 10 each way. Other foot. Okay. Now, we could go on and on with mobility drills, but a lot of the times it's just as good or better to start doing your techniques for the day. Start off light, you know, to get your range of motion, get your technique set. And then as you go heavier, the best warm up for your techniques are going to be those techniques at a lighter weight. So what we're focusing on mostly is kettlebells, but where possible, I'm going to show you the dumbbell variations also. So if you don't have kettlebells, if you don't have kettlebells that are the right weight for the particular exercise, it's too heavy, it's too light, whatever, you can get dumbbells. I have plate loaded dumbbells, and I have a 35-pound dumbbell here and a 35-pound kettlebell here that I'll be demonstrating both of these things with. The first technique that we're going to do is a clean. I'll show it from both directions, from right on. And so you can have, sometimes there's a little bit less of a learning curve if people start off with the kettlebells handled this way. It may be better to do it this way. Depends on what we're doing, okay? The reason why I'll start some people out this way is because sometimes if they're here and they go to do the clean, you see that impact? So sometimes where there's that like learning curve, I'm doing some things wrong here, so it's making it hit into my arm. Where if I have the handle facing this way, I can do those same things wrong, and it's just less of an impact. You can also wear wristbands. There's kettlebell guards for your wrist. So if you have a problem with them hitting your arms and it's bruising up or hurting, there's nothing wrong with wearing some wristbands. So the first thing will be the clean. So have the kettlebell in front of you, about a foot or so. Hinge back, so my knees don't go forward. It's just my hips going back. I'm keeping my shoulders drawn towards my hips using my lats. Look at the kettlebell, or like the horizon. Don't like look up. So it's like either the kettlebell or the horizon. Your neck should stay neutral, so should your back. Hike it back. Once my elbow hits my hip, it stays there, okay? A common mistake is to let it come out, and that's what causes the impact. There's other things, but that's a primary reason. So the reason why we do that is so we're using our hips for that power. So even if you grab a 70-pounder, it's nothing anywhere close to like just curling the weight up, right? So we're using our hip power. Kettlebell comes back, hips forward. Okay. Then from the front. There are multiple ways to drop the kettlebell. Thumb in towards your groin or thumb out. I use both depending on what I'm doing. So from the front, shoulders back, spine neutral, shins vertical. Kettlebell goes back, hips go forward. And I'm just cleaning the kettlebell to here. Then we're going to squat. So okay. When you squat, think of pulling yourself down. Just like if I'm hanging from a bar and I do a leg raise, I'm using these muscles, the hip flexors. You're going to contract everything to pull yourself down into the squat. You're not just yielding to gravity. You're actively pulling yourself down. There's multiple reasons for that, but mainly it's safer, it's stronger, and the more I've thought about it, safety and strength are the same thing. It's the same thing. So we're going to do clean and squat, and I'm just going to set the timer for 3 minutes and just practice that, okay? You don't have to do them continuously, but here, okay, both hands, squat. If you're doing dumbbell variation, treat your dumbbell the same way as the kettlebell by starting out with it in front of you. So even though this is 35 pounds, I can curl it and I can squat it. You develop, if you can't do that, it's not wrong. But if you can develop that getting used to using your hip power to lift the dumbbell also, it's going to transfer to all kinds of things. So when you're using that hips, it's glutes, your abs. So the dumbbell's in front of me, same thing. I hike it back, and it's my hips lifting the weight. I'll keep it tucked under my chin. Squat down, squat up. Okay, you can switch hands every however many reps you want, depending on your weight. Maybe it's 3 or 5. So I'll set the timer for 3 minutes, and we're just going to practice that. The timer that I use is called Impetus on my phone here. You can make your own times, the amount of sets you want, the amount of rest that you want, count down to it. It's a great app, it's free. So 3 minutes. I'm going to do them, and I'm also going to explain finer details as we go. So so again, hike it back, hips go forward. My glutes are maximally contracted. So this is a stability thing. I'm holding this using my stability. So my abs are contracted, like braced for a punch. They're not sucked in or pushed out. My glutes are contracted maximally. If they're loose, I start shifting around. Glutes are tight. Feet are gripping the floor. I'm actively pulling myself down into the squat. Pushing up, right back to where I was. Maybe you go down for another squat. Maybe you switch arms. The main thing is, if you're new to this, don't think you have to do a certain amount of reps in a certain amount of time. It's practice. It's strength is a skill. Mobility is a skill. Stability is a skill. Strength is a skill. Power is a skill. Endurance is a skill. Clean. My fist is under my chin. Everything's tight. Pulling down. Okay. I want to make sure that my knees stay over my ankles. I don't want them to cave in. That's called valgus collapse. It's not strong. It's not safe. This way. Okay. If that hurts your elbows for some reason, maybe when you drop the kettlebell, have it go thumbs down, like you're unzipping your jacket. Okay. Also, when you're dropping the bell, make sure you don't just like let it snap. Okay. My hips absorb that power. My hips absorb the force, and then it redirects the force. So there's no snapping going on in my elbow. When the elbow goes down, when the kettlebell goes down, the hips go back. See how that loads my hips, it loads my glutes, my hamstrings, really the whole leg. Makes it stronger. So I'm going to show with a dumbbell. So do a little different angle here. 20 seconds to go. Back, forward. Same thing. Okay, with the kettlebell, with the dumbbell, it's a little different, but okay, that's the end of the 3 minutes. We're just gonna do one more thing today, okay? The next thing is press. So and then we're gonna do a combination, actually. So you'll do the clean and press, and then we're going to put them together, the clean, the squat, and the press. And I'll show you a little bit about like what makes my style freestyle. What I'm showing now is like basic fundamentals. They never get old. They should be in your program forever. So even though I say basic fundamentals, you don't outgrow them. So the press, it'll start with the clean the same way. All right, so maybe your kettlebell is facing, handle this way, and maybe it's turned to the side. I'm going to show you turn to the side. Okay, so we did that. So when my clean, my glutes and abs are tight, I have a good grip on the bell, and I'm going to push the bell straight up. Okay, and I want to make sure my bicep goes up by my ear. Not my ear to my bicep to my ear. I also want to make sure my arm is straight. A common mistake with a kettlebell is letting it drift forward a little bit, which puts the kettlebell right over the shoulder, which in some ways kind of makes sense. There may be some times that you do that, especially when we're doing a bottoms up press. But generally, you want the bicep by the ear. Okay. Now to lower it, we don't just yield to gravity. Okay. Push straight up. I'm gonna glutes, abs even more. And I'm gripping as hard as I can. I'm doing a one-arm pull-up. Okay. So up, squeeze, and down. I'm doing a one-arm pull-up. It's hard to get this thing down from here. Okay. Why is that? Safer, stronger. Okay. So a lot of people have rotator cuff problems. And so, yeah, you can have these rotator cuff exercises where you're using a band or whatever, and you go out this way, you come in this way, out this way. You can focus on the movement of the particular rotator cuff muscle that you're aiming towards, but they work together to hold the arm and the shoulder, okay, the ball in the socket. They work together to do that. So the best way to contract them all at the same time and to do that is to squeeze hard, keep your shoulder down, don't let it come up. Keep your shoulder down and press. Keep your shoulder down to lower. Okay? So with a dumbbell, same thing. We're going to clean our dumbbell the same way that we do the kettlebell. Still, the fist, my arm should be vertical. The arm position with the kettlebell and the dumbbell are a little different, but that's okay. So glutes and abs, I'm pushing it straight up. Bicep to the ear, not ear to bicep. With the dumbbell, you're less likely to have that mistake where you're pulling forward, going forward, but it's possible, especially if someone's using a really light weight. Sometimes you'll see that. See how my arm is like at a 45? It's not at this way, it's not this way. It's at about a 45-degree angle. Wasn't I talking about 45-degree angles a little bit ago? Feet? Okay, there's reasons for that. So, and then the one arm pull up on the way down. Okay. You can also do a rotation press, or it's called an Arnold press, where you come out this way and straight up. It's another same but different technique. So if you get tired doing one way, you can do the other way. And so you're still pressing. Pressing overhead should be in your program forever, pretty much. But you can throw in different variations as you understand the reasons why, or just because you want to. So we're going to add one variation to this, and we're going to put this all together for a 3-minute set. Take your time. If you need to put whatever it is that you're using down, put it down. I'll show you what we're doing. I'll set the timer for 3 minutes. It'll be the last thing that we're doing today. So we're going to do the clean. We'll start with the kettlebell. I'll show on the dumbbell also. So clean, squat, sorry, when you're doing at the end of your squat, push up for the press. So I was going to show you 2 different ways, but we already kind of did that. So once you're here, you can do the squat, go up, and then do the press, go down. Okay, it's just a combination of what we already did. What makes it more of a freestyle is the flowing and putting it together. And sometimes we don't have to have that definite stop, like that pose for the picture kind of thing happening. Okay, so it's more fluid. So you clean, let that sink in, use that power to make it go up. Okay, then instead of just doing my one arm pull up and then doing my squat, and then doing my press, or doing my clean and then my press, squat and press, we're going to flow it all together, okay? So, clean, right into the squat, push press, push it right into the press. When I lower it, instead of doing the one arm pull up, I'm just going to let it drop. Okay. So I'm going to intentionally throw a couple different variations in here. It's okay if you do something different. Just think about these parameters. You're using the squat to help the press. You're loading the squat with lowering that press. Okay? So sometimes you want to press, everything is stiff, one arm pull up to get it down. Sometimes you just let it drop right down into the squat and right back up. Okay? We're going to do that for 3 minutes. That'll be the last thing for today. I'll show you on the dumbbell. 3 minutes is going. So, clean, right into the squat, right into the press. So if you start to get out of breath, which you probably will, here's your rest position. You can also put it down whenever you need to. But if you need to take a breath for a second, it's good to work on this overhead stability anyway, this overarm position. So, because I know this is coming, let it drop. Lower, clean, push press. Catch your breath a second. Lower. Maybe you can switch hands in the air. Couple breaths. Okay. If this doesn't feel right to you, do each one as more of a staccato. Okay. This can also be a bit of a rest position. Okay, because you're resting in stability and you're getting ready to be doing more power. So, clean. Maybe do a few of those in a row. Oh, shoulders get tired in a second. There you go. Up. Left arm's getting tired. Go ahead and switch, or switch every 3 reps, 5 reps, whatever weight you have. Maybe it's 1 rep. Okay, so key point is when this clean is coming in, I'm absorbing that weight. So with the kettlebell, you'll get to where that doesn't have an impact anyways, but you absorb it. You learn how to absorb the force and redirect. So, clean, absorb. Switching there. "30 seconds. So you'll see my different variations. Maybe you're doing a few of one thing in a row, then back to the clean, okay? It doesn't have to be so like cut in stone, like this is exactly what you should do. Okay, a lot of my workouts, 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Okay, put the bell down. So sometimes whether I'm doing my own workout, teaching somebody one-on-one, or especially in a group class. I started doing a lot of this when I was teaching group classes because you have people of all different strength levels, all different skill levels with the kettlebell. And so instead of thinking, okay, you have to do 5 sets of 5. Okay, well, Johnny is still working. Mary's been done for a minute and a half, she's wandering around. And then this person's on like their first, so instead of like having so much variation where somebody's waiting on somebody, it's like, okay, we're going to do this for 5 minutes. Okay, and then people are working on themselves wherever they are at the time. You see what I mean? So a lot of kettlebell training, like the competitions, most of them are 10-minute sets and uninterrupted. You know, that's without putting the bell down. So you learn how to develop incredible strength and power, endurance, and it'll be surprising to you if, what you can do once you start learning how to use your hips to do this power. So I mean, I'm not trying to like brag, but so this is 106 pounds. I weigh like 160. Okay, so watch me curl it. Watch how strong I am at curling it. Oh, uh-oh. That didn't look good, did it? That's embarrassing. It's 106 pounds. It's not that big of a deal. If I had chalk, it'd be, I may have shown a few more reps. But you see what I mean? The idea for me doing these videos like this, I want them to be very affordable. I want them to be accessible to anyone, whether they're on their phone. They don't have to have storage. Okay, I'm not trying to take up your phone storage. You need to be able to just go to the website, the Patreon website. Right now it's gonna be $5 a month for the patrons to access my videos. I put it on the same one as my podcast. You can watch all the episodes of my podcast for free. There's all kinds of amazing guests on there, all kinds of topics also. But over time, give me your feedback, okay? Tell me what you want to know. And if you have a specific question, I might make your answer the next episode, okay? I will be doing these at least once a week. Okay, today is Sunday. My plan is to at least have one out by next Sunday. I'll probably do one before then, so I can get a little bit of a build-up and people can see more. But I want it to be accessible. So, like, I have all these kettlebells in here. I have all the kettlebells. Maybe you have two. Maybe you have one that's kind of heavy, kind of light. That's okay. We'll work around that. So I will continue to expound on the philosophy of training. I will continue to show you more and more techniques, but it's not just about more and more techniques. So we'll always be coming back to fundamentals, and I'll be trying to, I will be showing you things maybe that you haven't seen before and putting them together in a way that makes sense. And so I hope you enjoy. Thank you for being a patron. If you see this, you already did it. So thank you. I want to continue, and give me your feedback. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want.